Hi, I'm Cara from While Camden Sleeps, and welcome to my new YouTube show, Refashion series. The dress that I'm sewing today is one that I inherited when my grandma passed away. I found out they were going to donate her clothes, so I asked if I could have them instead and update them as a homage to her. Now the dress had some stains on it and a little bit of discoloration, so I decided to dye it to help mask that. So I'm using boiling hot water and I'm mixing in Rit Dye-More, which is used for polyester fabric, which this dress is. And the color that I'm using is Sapphire. Now you'll note that the dress is already wet. That helps ensure that it colors evenly. So I throw the dress in and I stir it and leave it for an hour, at which point I take it out, rinse it till it runs clear, and then I throw it in the wash just to make sure I don't have any ink coming out anymore. Now I start by breaking down the pieces. I used to use a seam ripper and do this carefully, but that would take hours and hours. So now I just like to trim it if I know that it's big enough that I have room. So I removed the skirt and now I'm removing the sleeves from the bodice. And you'll notice that this bodice has a yoke on the top. And at first I decided to leave that all the way intact, but then after I realized it kind of stuck out weird over the shoulders. So you'll see me remove that part as well in just a minute. Yep, here's that kind of awkward part sticking out over that I'm removing. And I didn't cut it off very well, so I laid it on the side and helped smooth out that line. That'll just make it easier to add sleeves. So let's go on with the alterations. The first thing I did was take in the sides, and I was originally going to sew the dress using the back as the front. That's why it's like that on my dress form. And then I also removed all of the buttons and the snaps. And then I'm going to sew those sides together to create the front. And I actually ended up doing the front inside out, and you'll see that in a minute. So I'm just cutting the back so I can do a zipper. And now you're gonna see how I did the front inside out. So the skirt is tucked in to the bodice so that I can sew it together. And you'll see that there's the lining from the buttons is now in the front because I think it kind of makes a cool ruffle detail. After I've attached my skirt, I go ahead and I insert an invisible zipper, and then now I do the sleeves. So I'm using an old sleeve pattern and I'm cutting the sleeves out of the original sleeves to create a cap sleeve. And I just go ahead and I pin it on the traditional way. And once it's all pinned and ready, I went ahead and I sewed it. Now, I haven't included images of me sewing the hem on the neckline and on the sleeves and on the bottom of the dress, but you can see that in the after photos. And I did remove the bottom of the dress and decided that I actually liked the length, so I added it back on. So you'll see a little seam on the bottom of the hem. So here's our final result. Again, this is what we started with. A kind of fun late 80s, early 90s dress. And here's the after. I like that it still has a vintage feel because it still feels kind of like a homage to my grandma because it's something that she would have worn. And I also found this belt when I was going through the rest of her stuff, so I went ahead and dyed it as well to add to the outfit. And that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel.